All right. I think we have landed. And as soon as somebody says something, I will know we have. I will know.
Those are my hearts, so they
There's
don't count.
Danny's heart, so I know you're there. And Laura's here. Yay!
Yay!
Very good. She got the number one crown. Laura, you got the number one crown. Hi,
Awesome.
El Jest. You get number two crown. Yeah, Laura says I look crabby.
Well, you're a crab.
I am a crab, right? I am in more ways than one. I'm a crab. Yep.
There are some ways in which I do perceive your cancer tendencies,
Yeah.
but mostly you do not feel like a cancer to me.
So you and Laura would be in agreement on this because Laura just at this point refers to me as a Gemini. She doesn't even like refer to me because I am Gemini rising, right? So,
Oh,
but
that makes a lot of sense.
whenever she sends me like astrology clips she wants me to listen to and whatever, like they're always for Gemini, right? And like I understand that. Like I understand that my external, the forward facing, the outward facing personality is very much more either to the Gemini side in terms of like the energy and like the all the chatteriness. And then my moon is in Pisces, which to like the weird experiences, the drug use, like all of that kind of stuff, like that makes sense there, right? And then what was I gonna say? And then Cancer, but I know I'm a Cancer because like I know myself in ways that like everybody else either doesn't know me or only knows me minimally because like when I'm home by myself, which is like really what Cancer like is, I'm by myself, right?
Yeah.
And I also know like I'm very protective of that. Like I don't really love having house guests for the most part, right? Anyone who ever gets invited into my home, you should feel honored. You should feel honored because I generally am not big on house guests. And like I don't like to when I'm home, I'm not like big on like talking on the phone or talking at all. I just kind of mostly want to like do whatever nonsense home is about for me, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So like I have a couple of different things going on, but like I'm definitely a Cancer.
But you're not a cancer crybaby, and you're not like keeping tabs on all the ways that your friends are annoying you to one day use against them the way I experience cancers doing.
Oh,
Like you
interesting.
definitely have a tougher shell
Uh-huh.
than most can, and I don't mean tougher like you're armored. I just mean I feel like cancers cannot handle much emotionally. Personally, no offense to cancers in the chat.
Are most of your Cancer friends male?
Um I have some cancer female friends, but I know it's literally just a matter of time before they go away because I will offend them and
Yeah.
they will not be able to handle it.
I have heard from lots of people that like Cancer men can be like emotionally like
Whiny
the
babies.
right that kind of thing. I have heard. I don't know that I have that many. I have a few Cancer men friends that I wouldn't say qualify as that, but I'm aware of some other Cancer men that probably definitely qualify as that. And then my main other like Cancer female, like my sister is also a Cancer, and my sister is an entirely different kind of personality than I am, but I wouldn't say she definitely doesn't qualify for the way that you're describing. My sister's like the most like diplomatic, like, person
She
ever.
Libra rising.
I don't know what her rising sign and her moon and stuff like that are. I don't know. I'll have to, Laura might know. Laura, if you know, put it in the chat box. Um,
So first of all, I do want to thank Dead Star Cave Girl for our super chat because
Thank you,
Dead Star
Dead
Cave Girl is
Star.
awesome. But I have Venus in Pisces, and I always feel like, not always, but I feel like I understand your emotional life. Like I feel like oh, I get what's happening. So I feel like that makes sense if, as far as your Pisces moon and
Right.
my Venus and Pisces, like those make sense.
Yeah, yeah. I've had other people do different kinds of astrology on me that make me other things, right? And in their
Like
version,
Vedic.
Vedic and like Christopher Gardner did one where it's like it's at your I think your conception date as opposed to your um right. I think that yeah, and
Yeah,
then
human design does that. They do two charts, your conception birth
right.
chart and then your born birth chart.
and like whatever person is doing the astrology and what it says, they're like, oh yeah, that's how I seem to them, right? So like I don't, but
No one's
also
objective.
no one's object, but also, and sometimes they'll say things to me that I'm like, yeah, I can see why you would think that, like that part. There's a part of me that's like that. But I do think that like particularly people who do something like this, like what you and I like being on YouTube or people who are performers or something like that, like you do have like a level of chameleonness to you to be able to like do this under any conditions, right? And same like coming from gymnastics, like how you felt when you got to the gym every day was completely different. You still had to do that. So you developed sort of different personalities to cope with that, right? And then if you add
Yeah.
on top of that your gym was probably also like an MK Ultra breeding ground, then you definitely had different personalities. But anyway, so yeah, I'm whatever someone thinks I
So Gemini rising. Well, happy birthday to your rising sign, and I know your sun sign birthday is coming up as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let me see if Laura knew what my sister's.
She did not.
She did
She
not.
said,
Okay.
I don't know.
Laura's very chatty today, but she didn't know that one.
But we have a quadruple Scorpio in the chat. Welcome.
Oh, that's intense.
Thank you for not going off on us.
Yes. Yeah, I think my friend Laura isn't Rob like a triplet or a quadruple Scorpio or something like that. I have a friend. He's like the nicest person, but like he has a complicated life, right?
I feel like Scorpios and Geminis are similar that way, where like there's a learning curve in learning how to handle their astrology.
Right.
Especially like, I mean, Scorpios, I think it's a matter of self-responsibility with the rage and the manipulation and the lashing out. But with Gemini, like all that Mercury swirling, like I've seen people with heavy Gemini charts where it's like I can see where it works against them because they haven't figured out like how to either get into the body or like it's something that takes managing in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like every personality type, every set of astrology does. It's just in what way, right?
Yes.
Like it's different. You know what I mean? So unless you like use your and get myself in trouble here, unless you use your astrology as like the left likes to use identity politics, and then there's no managing about it. There's just
Right. Then you're just a victim.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yep. All right. So what else?
Can I share a quick identity politics story just and then we'll jump into it? Do you mind?
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so just because I was so shocked. So someone who I know from the quote unquote health freedom community and who is a like powerful connector and leader in that community last year started sending me a lot of like pro-ICE propaganda.
Pro-ICE. Okay.
Pro-ICE.
Okay.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Anti-ICE.
Got it.
Pro-illegal immigration propaganda. And, I've had this conversation with multiple people. Like, I feel like if you grow up in Southern California, you're going to have a very different relationship to illegal immigration than if you grow up somewhere where that isn't actually an entrenched part of the culture. So I was like, thank you for sending me these things. I'm on the other side of this issue. Not only did he go off on me, he unfriended me on all social media and blocked me. And we were actual real friends who like saw each other in real life. And he lives out of state. I visited him in his state. He's visited me in my state. So this was enough for him to completely throw me off the bus. And I never said anything like insulting or anything like that. So then I get a behind the scenes message on him from Instagram last week saying, hey, want to be friends again? I'll be in your neck of the woods for a month. And I'm in the process of rewriting like how easily I can forgive people and not being very discerning about people. And I was like, okay, is there an apology forthcoming? And he said, oh yeah, you're stuck on that colonizer shit. No, I'm never gonna apologize. And I said, cool, good luck on my turf. And then
Right.
that was it. Like, It's crazy to me these people think that like I'm disposable, I'm worthless in your life, but now you're going to be in my hood so you can shit on me and expect me to be your tour guide? Like what the fuck?
Right. So let me ask you, because I have no idea who you're talking about. Is that
Yeah.
person a libertarian or like an anarchist?
No.
Then that's even weirder,
I
right?
know.
Right. If they were a libertarian or an anarchist, at least like it would be logically consistent, right?
Right.
So whatever people's opinion on that is, so it's fascinating to me that, yeah, I'm, yeah.
It
So they're a health freedom person that only became a health freedom person during COVID then.
it sounds like it's weird because it's like a pro gun person, and my thing is like it's okay if this perspective of yours doesn't align with all the others. I don't care, but
Right.
I don't think that. So like that's
Right.
great that you think that, but your propaganda should probably be sent to someone else. And the fact that he needed to throw me away, and I'm like, you're just as bad as all the vax holes that you go off on. Like you're the same.
I was just trying to figure out because you had said that like you knew this person from the health freedom, right? Like that's a surprising, unless a person is a libertarian or an anarchist, then that would be a surprising. Yeah, I don't know. So that is the one, like it's a big, I know like a lot of people who reserve comment on almost everything else, or who have like a more nuanced perspective on almost everything else, like are like willing to go to the mat or do things like what you're talking about on that particular topic, right? Like, and I guess, in some ways, same thing happened during COVID with the quack scene and the mask stuff and whatever. People who generally were capable of nuance or capable, right? So it is interesting. Like obviously, like I've had my own sets of issues over the years on the various political stuff with some communities that I'm part of. And at this point, like it's almost irrelevant to me. Like I don't really care what anyone thinks about any of that stuff anymore at all, period. It doesn't stop me from engaging with individuals or doing the things I want to do. But it is fascinating to me when I hear the impassioned pleas, the posts, the things that they do to raise funds for that cause and things like that, and the reasoning they give behind it. Like I can appreciate and respect it, and it's impossible for me to understand how they can't see that there are other issues that then fall under the same thing, right? And so, like, it can't be that like all of them are at it for the exact same reason. Um, but it's just it's absolutely bizarre. It's not bizarre to me that people feel that way. It's bizarre to me that people feel that strongly about that sense of impinging upon somebody's humanity or perceived freedom or whatever it is, but can't quite see how other ways of impinging or restricting should at least be understood and respected in the same way, even if you don't agree with them, right? It's very bizarre.
Yeah, that's what tripped me out was like if it was someone like in my family or someone from back in LA like who was stuck on the libtard train, fine, like I get it, no problem. But like I thought we respected intellectual diversity and our own experiences that bring us to these places. And
Right.
it's like okay, you clearly don't have that ability, which is fine. So you needed to disrespect me, but now you think I'm going to be your friend because
That's
it's
really weird.
convenient for you. It's so
Yeah,
crazy.
that is weird.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I liked your response. So
Thanks.
everybody take notes for when something similar happens to you, right? You did it in a clever way. I liked it. Did you say the thing about the tour guide to him?
Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. All right. So we have a menu of items for you guys here today. What should we start with? I think you've been wanting that Eric Weinstein. You've been chomping at the bit on the Eric Weinstein for a bit. So let's start with Eric Weinstein.
Okay, but I just have so many that I don't want to like take up our whole
Well,
show.
let's start there. Like I think I have a pretty decent understanding of like how long my things will take, unless there's some query back from you or from someone in the audience that just, you know, astounds me beyond anything I could have expected. So
Okay.
I think I have so why don't you get started on Eric? And if we get to the place where I'm like, we're getting, like start with I don't know if you want to go chronologically or if you want to start with the ones you think are most important and then, you know, move from there. But I think we're good
Okay.
to start with
I'll
Eric
go
Weinstein.
chronologically, and some of my clips are a bit longer than usual. So yeah, we can just be like, okay, that's enough, and we'll move on, and we'll just chip our
Okay.
way through it.
And so I just so people know, while I was actively ignoring reality for the last couple of weeks, just based on all the things that have been going on for me, I did notice that the Eric Weinstein on Joe Rogan interview popped up, and so I sent it to Dani so she could deal with it since I wasn't going to, right? Just remember, because it's the Joe Rogan, unless you have it on just an audio only, to make it very small in the corner, otherwise it will get us a strike.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the reminder. And
Yes.
I just want to give us a quick overview. I'm guessing you didn't watch it at all.
No.
So this is clearly damage control based on what Courtney Turner is reporting and what Alyssa Valdez is reporting. And
Who's
I think
Alyssa Valdez?
so. Alyssa Valdez is she's a Pulitzer nominated journalist who's worked for Boston Globe, New York Times, LA Times. She is a New Mexico native. She started a Substack called The Pugilist in January, and she's been doing incredible reporting on not just Epstein, but like the fake Truth Commission and like how compromised the people on the Truth Commission are. Like, she's unpacking it from a very New Mexico
What's the
perspective.
Truth Commission? You mean in New Mexico? In New Mexico.
Yes, so New
Okay.
Mexico has put together this fake commission. I'm the one who's putting in fake.
Fake Truth Commission is a good title.
Ooh, I like that.
Mhm.
To investigate the wrongs. I'm just writing down fake Truth Commission, but they're all about like the survivors and the salacious sex shit, and not about like, what about the fact that New Mexico has been covering this for decades? So she got hit with a direct energy weapon and left the country that day with so she left the country about 2 weeks ago, but I think she's still reporting on this. So the reason I'm bringing this up is this was clearly like an attempt for Eric to play defense to what they're reporting on.
Mhm.
And once again, we get a different Eric personality. And at one point during this one, like I literally thought he was gonna cry. And it seems like Joe like feels sorry for him in this one. And also, because I'm not sure these pieces will come through in my clips, Jamie clearly does not like Eric, and it felt like was kind of antagonizing him, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
I love it. I
Great.
love it. Yeah.
Okay, so fair use. We'll keep it little. And how do I make
we'll keep it little as a good name for a title for it as well. Okay, if you go to the right hand corner, it should offer you like different ways to. Yours looks different than mine. Okay, click. Move your cursor. Let me see if something pops up if you move your cursor over it. Yeah, right there. Those little arrows. Yep, the little arrows.
But it says full screen and we want it littler.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go to the other one. The one up top. It's one arrow pointing to the box above Joe Rogan's face. On that little icon on the bottom, right? It's like right there. No. Go back to where you were. There's like a thing above the little Joe Rogan seal in the bottom right corner. If you go back, no, right,
got it.
above it. Yeah, there you go.
Got it.
Yep, there you go.
Okay. I hope this still works with the transcript. Okay, here we go. Fair use.
And what good science is, where they're the only ones who are guessing the puzzle. They can't guess the puzzle. And everyone else is like, here's a crazy story from yesterday. I wasn't allowed to say that I gave a talk in the physics department, even though any normal person would say that that happened. And I wasn't allowed to do that when I visited a physics institution in Canada. I wasn't allowed to say that I was visiting for a week, nor was I allowed to say that I gave a seminar that lasted 9 hours.
But you just did.
Yeah.
Are you a lawbreaker?
I'm breaking the rules now because I've had it. I agreed to not do this, and with these missing scientists, I've changed my mind.
Right?
I'm not going to deal with these people anymore. and whatever is going on with science and the suppression of different ideas is terrifying. Right now, we have a situation. I gave a talk at the University of Chicago. There's no record of it.
Who's asking you to do these talks, and who's asking you to not give a record? You don't have to name names.
Yeah, particular people. In general, the funny part is that the people who ask me to give talks in the physics departments are the most courageous person in each department. So the problem is that the person that you end up feeling resentful towards, how dare you tell me that I can't give this talk in this department officially, is the person who's arranging for you.
So I just want us to be mindful right now, because Eric is doing this a lot, of when he dissociates and shifts into second person, because I think it makes the veracity of what he's saying questionable. Okay, continuing on. More fair use.
Your stay and is arranging for the room, and they are under the most pressure from the institutions.
So the institution is forcing them to say, you're allowed to give the talk, but you're not allowed to talk about it on social media. You're not allowed to advertise that you're doing it. You're not allowed to say that you're doing it.
So in this case, in the case of UTex's physics department, I was allowed to say I'm speaking in the Karch group seminar. It's like a condom to make sure that the physics department doesn't get pregnant.
What isn't that really bizarre? Because University of Austin, Texas was supposed to be a university that fixed all the bullshit that was wrong with other universities.
Oh, it's much more insane than that. This was the home of Steven Weinberg, who moved from Harvard to Texas because the oil money was used to buy brains. So basically Texas raided Harvard for people like John Tate in the math department, Steven Weinberg, who was probably the greatest living theorist. And that was the continuation of the Bryce DeWitt group from North Carolina, Chapel Hill, that was set up to do anti-gravity by Agnew Bainson. So you're right next to an amazing...
Okay, I just want to move us forward a little bit, because I think he's talking about boring shit. Any take on anything thus far?
Well, I think that Eric is talking about the University of Texas at Austin, and I think Joe thinks he's talking about University of Austin, which is Barry Weiss's propaganda school, right?
Correct.
So I think that there's some confusion going on there on some level. But, like, I mean, obviously, it couldn't have been too serious of an agreement that he agreed to. Otherwise, he wouldn't be out here, like, talking about it. It's just, right? Like, this is, like,
of course.
Right? Like, I don't know. It's just so, it never ceases to amaze me how off his assessment of himself is.
This one is crazy because he's so all over the place in how often he contradicts himself.
Right.
And it's like, I didn't know it was possible for a person to be this insecure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I definitely have known people this insecure. Most of them just are not doing it on the biggest media platforms in the world. That's
the thing. Like, you'd think at some point he would give himself credit for what he has accomplished. It's very odd. Like,
right.
He isn't a loser. Like, there's all the ways that he's annoying, but he's clearly an accomplished person. And the fact that he has to constantly remind us of that is very odd. It's very odd. It's kind of like have you I a couple times in the last few months when I've tuned in, like, never do a whole show, but for a few clips of Dark Horse, like, he's now announcing it as, I am Dr. Brett Weinstein and this is Dr. Heather Haying, right? Like, like that's super duper important to, like, assert why they're better than you. Yes.
Right. And at a certain point, like, I don't, like, I'm not good at that many things in life, but the few things that I've been good at in my life, you get to a point where, like, you understand that you're pretty good at them, and, like, you're not trying to prove that you're good at them anymore. You're just, like, operating from that place.
Right.
And you're like trying to be responsible with the things that you know more about than other people, and you try and help people who don't know as much about it, and you try to not be an asshole and whatever it is. And also, like sometimes you've been doing that thing for so long, you're also kind of bored and tired of it, so you just don't even want to talk about it that much anymore, or whatever it is. So to me, all of this behavior is very strange. It's like when somebody just became good at something last week, they have to do this, or when somebody knows they're not really good at something yet, but they want to be so badly that they're like telling themselves a story or wanting to be part of a cool club. I don't understand what this is. Like it's like whatever bullying that they had that Brett and Eric when they were kids because they had doofy hair and they were so just socially retarded or whatever it is seems to have had a lasting impact on them.
Yeah,
That's the only
for
thing I
sure.
can think of.
For sure.
Right?
You would think that there would be some friends or people in their corner to be like, hey, why don't you take a break from embarrassing yourself on Joe Rogan and go get some therapy so
Right.
that you can show up and not make an ass of yourself?
Well, you think Heather would be that person because you can tell how uncomfortable she is with all of that.
Yeah.
Right. So you'd think it would be her as that person. But I guess it would be, I guess she's like, maybe she's the handler. And so it's kind of like, she has a sort of, the two opposing thoughts. Like she understands what her job is and this is right. Like, I don't know. She's the one that's sort of harder to get your finger on because if this wasn't your job, why on earth would you ever put up with this?
For sure.
Right.
Because she generally, for all the things that annoy us, like, because I did watch a little Dark Horse this morning, they were talking about the eminent domain issue, is that she carries herself with dignity and self-respect. Like, maybe what she's saying is feeding the narrative or is a little disinformation-y or whatever, but she's not making an ass of herself.
Right.
She's carrying herself well. The brothers are not.
Right. And you can see the embarrassment in her face when they do these things.
Yes.
So it's like, you'd think that even if this was her job, at a certain point, like we've all quit jobs that were well paying and that got us, like opportunities that we wouldn't otherwise have because it was just too annoying. Like when is she going to reach that point? Right. Yeah.
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 Well, when she does, Heather, you are more than welcome to join us on Words.
Still fair using. Continue.
All right, here we go.
This is one of the tiny number of places that has a real legacy in that department. And I was speaking there on gravity, on dark energy. And look, I've been lying my whole life about my relationship with the physics world because of this pressure. They can't listen to me if I say I'm a physicist. So I say I'm an entertainer. Yeah. But people say, well, why would you do that? Why would you say that you're an entertainer when you obviously are conversant in all this stuff? And the answer is, I don't want to die. I don't want to lose my ability to enter a physics department. So I take on this completely wrong persona. And, I have the emails. You're not giving a talk. You're having conversations in room 5308.
It literally says you're not giving a talk.
I could read what it is that they write to me. So,
what is the benefit of this formal declaration or this formal designation of the way you're talking?
So when I was at a physics institute in Canada, I was told, we're worried that you're going to use it to legitimize yourself. It's like, I'm going to do that. Of course I'm going. I have a PhD from Harvard, you stupid. I mean...
How many times have we heard Eric tell us about his Harvard PhD?
Right.
I'm just curious. In separate news, I just found out a friend of mine who will not be named was sleeping with Steven Pinker for 3 years when she was a student at MIT.
That's so gross, dude.
But she showed me a picture of him and I'm like, yeah, he was hot back then.
Really? He's so creepy now with those like weird curly gray hair.
Right?
It's like sweaty and wiry. It's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, I want to get around this little square space thing. But wait, there's a little piece where he says,
like, you guys imagine I'm a podcast guest?
Yes, that's what you are.
Yes, we do imagine that because that's what we see you doing more than anything. And if you're a real physicist, you'd probably be too busy to be on these podcasts.
I'm a podcast guest is a good title for a podcast also.
Ooh, I like that one. Okay, we're almost done with this. I just want to make sure we're done with, here we go. Okay.
Right, just a regular dude with some wacky ideas.
Right. And so the idea is I have to play that character as opposed
He has to.
Legitimizing yourself is a very bizarre phrase.
Tell me about it.
That's because it's assuming that you're not legitimate. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't think you're
Ding,
understanding.
ding, ding.
But no, I am understanding it. But
I love that he's so annoyed with Joe, who's trying to keep up with his nonsense.
Right.
Okay, continuing.
But from their perspective, saying that you're going to use it to legitimize yourself and your ideas is a really crazy way to phrase it, because like they're acting from the assumption that you're not legitimate.
So that's there. You remember when, like, I think Reagan thought, I forget who it was. Reagan thought there were recallable missiles.
Well, you could turn them around.
Right.
Sorry, we changed my mind.
So
Like a base jumper who's
without-
also a suicide.
Recallable missiles is a good title.
What was it?
Recallable missiles.
Recallable missiles. Okay, got it. Almost done with this one.
on second
Halfway
thought.
through, halfway in, he's like, "Oh, fuck this! No, I like."
Yeah, a lot of
cheesecake."
these people who survive jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, they learn, like, I love life.
Yes, most of them.
They're reborn.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, the problem is that I don't, this is not a boast. As you know, I don't usually put my credential first.
What do we do with that? Or as you know, it's his most prominent characteristic.
Right. And listen to what he's about to say.
Okay, here we go.
I'm probably the most blue chip defector from the institutions. Mutiny.
Blue chip
That's what I call
defector.
it that.
Blue chip defector.
I have essentially perfect credentials,
Perfect.
and that's the problem.
That's also a good title.
So it's not a question of you're going to legitimize you. I already legitimized myself by Harvard PhD, MIT postdoc, NSF postdoctoral fellow,
NSF.
ONR top in the country, Sloan Foundation grantee. I've been in math, physics, economics departments. I'm
You also
so
worked for
bulletproof.
Peter Thiel.
So that's the problem.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. It's not that you're a kook.
That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
You didn't understand.
No, I do
It is
understand. I just don't
specifically
understand why they want to do that to you.
because
That's what's bizarre.
Narrative.
Okay.
I am the greatest danger.
oh
the
my
narrative.
God.
Right?
Oh my
I'm
God.
the most followed mathematician in the United States. Maybe the world. Hannah Fry,
Maybe the world.
above it. That danger to the narrative is the problem.
Well,
Oh my
specifically
God,
for
this
people
is
that don't
so
know what we're
delusional.
talking about, what is
It's
to make this a
off the
standalone
rails.
show? The people that are not
Yeah.
aware of your work, what is it about you and your ideas that they are so hesitant to platform or legitimize, or why?
He's platformed. He's legitimate. He's doing all the things.
He's been on the biggest podcast in the world more times than any other physicist or any other mathematician, period. So what
Correct.
are we talking about?
Right. Like where is he being suppressed or censored? Okay, we're
Right,
almost
he's not chosen to give the graduation speeches at these places. He's not chosen, when they do some big, Google sponsored conference at MIT to be the keynote speaker. He's complaining about that. That's what this is.
Yep. Okay, we're almost done with this one. Fair use.
Why you're such a danger?
Okay, so in 2001, I said mortgage-backed securities were a great danger to the
Oh,
world. I had one of
God.
the first published papers on the danger of the pricing of illiquid securities. I went on Chris Williamson's show, and he asked me who's going to win, Biden or Trump. I said, you don't even know whether Biden's going to make it to November.
That makes him a genius. Are you serious?
People
Are
represented
you
as the
fucking
Democrat.
serious?
It's amazing. It's fucking amazing. Okay, almost done.
Oh.
Party reached out to me and said, stop talking about Biden's dementia. You need your affirmation that you're seeing something real. We've put in 3 people as a committee to replace the president. And I said, I'm supposed to feel good about that? So I
They
keep...
what they told you?
Yeah.
They put in 3 people.
They put in a committee of 3 people, and if you knew who those people were, you'd be pleased as punch, so shut up.
Wait.
That's what they said to
Yeah,
you?
correct.
You would be really happy, so shut up?
Yeah.
They didn't even tell you who the people were?
I think that they did, and I've conveniently forgot them. One of them might have
They
been...
did not tell you. Oh my God.
So first of all, How many times have we heard Eric Weinstein complain that he doesn't have the security clearance that he deserves?
Right.
But now apparently he has enough security clearance that he was told, shut up. Here are the three people running shit, but he forgot.
Right.
But he's the smartest man on the planet.
Right. Right.
Make it make
It's
sense.
so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. If it wasn't so satisfying, it would be uncomfortable to listen to.
I know. I know. Okay, so are we ready for another one?
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell me to stop at any time.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Fair use. Maybe it won't work. I've got a swirling beach ball.
Yeah.
Well, not really a beach ball.
That's weird. It was working so wonderfully.
I know. I can refresh.
Maybe.
Sorry about that.
You're at 3011.
Okay. And now I went to mute for some reason. Okay. I know we have to make it small. I'm just going to get to the place
Yeah.
while it's big.
There you go.
Shit. Ugh. Okay. How was I making it little? Oh, here.
Yep.
Okay. Fair use.
Was it Carl DeLue by Streletsky at Stanford? So first of all, there's just a lot of death because mathematicians and physicists are somewhat close to unhinged. And it's a really nasty, there's a lot of nasty culture, and sometimes it becomes violent.
Why do you think they're close to unhinged?
You spend that much time in your head? I'm amazed that I'm as well-grounded as I am. No, seriously, you're just way out in the stratosphere. I completely forget who I am, where I am, that I'm even a human being. That when you're using your body as an instrument, as you do in combat sports and training, you become a different thing. You know.
Pause for a
that
second.
archery thing where you have to.
Mm-hmm.
I have an interlude. Right. So I was at a party this past weekend, and I had one of those experiences where, like, for a minute or two, I completely forgot who I was, where I was, like, right? There was, so I'm not going to get into the explanation of who I was seeing and what it was, but it was a sort of a different kind of a slightly different sound system than what I normally have at parties. Although I've certainly heard this sound system before, I've never heard this sound system with as much sound or dialed in as well as this one was. And the DJ was playing like this track that had like, it was very atmospheric, right? Like it was, you know, it was like kind of tech housey, but it was very atmospheric and had like bird chirping and like bug noises and stuff kind of in it. Right. Mm-hmm. And I was really up close to the speaker tops, which is where like the highs come out of. So that's where those kinds of smaller noises come out of. And like I was positioned between where the tops were suspended and where like the mids and the bass cabinet like were. Mm-hmm. And so it sounded different in that spot than it did in the rest of the room. And like I closed my eyes and I was like watching whatever behind my eyes, and like I can't even tell you how long my eyes were closed for or whatever it was. Like I completely forgot that I was in a room with other people, that it was music I was listening to, that I was at a party, that I was Emily or anything like that. And like I suddenly opened my eyes and I was just like it took me a second to like recalibrate, right? And that usually happens to me like when I'm really into like the more sort of like chugging kind of thing and whatever. It doesn't usually happen to me from just like that atmosphere. It was almost like, you know, that moment when you're like at a sound bath where you're like gone for a few minutes. Yeah. It was really almost more like that than the way it normally happens to me at a party. It like felt entirely different. It was like incredibly disorienting, right? And so I'm just trying to like imagine that like Eric is at his math board or whatever doing that. And suddenly he has like that moment that, you know, not that I don't believe that genius mathematicians I think whatever thing you're the most into or that you have like the most sort of that keys you in the most, you can have that experience with that. I just don't see Eric as that kind of person because he's always thinking about his role in whatever it is he's doing.
That's the thing. It's like, because this is not the first time we've heard Eric claim that he spends his days alone in a lab by himself with his brain. And it's like, were you not managing director of Palantir?
Right.
And when he, and then,
Teal Capital, not Palantir.
I'm sorry, Teal Capital.
Teal Capital.
Did you not have a podcast called The Portal? Are
Right.
you not part of Edge? Are you not part of Conciliate? It's like, do you think that we're stupid and we're not seeing that you're doing?
He does because you don't have a PhD from Harvard or a postdoc from
Correct.
MIT and something else from NSF, whatever the fuck that is.
National Science Foundation.
Got it. Okay.
Which I'm like surprised that he would let that. It's like, we know you work for the government. Like, stop. Like, this ruse is crazy. And I give Joe props because I feel like Joe got a talking to for maybe being too mean to Eric because he's trying so hard on
He's
this
trying to
one.
be mean without being mean.
Correct.
Right? Like he's
Correct.
trying to not be mean, but he's trying to like get his point across diplomatically.
Yes.
But you can tell he's being like, I'm not buying this story. This is fucking
Correct.
bullshit. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, there's just a tiny bit more of this particular clip, so more fair use. And hi, Rafa, welcome.
Hi, Rafa.
Twist your arm. A lot of people don't know that they can do that initially, like just a small thing like that. Or
What are you
how
talking about? Archery thing that you twist your arm?
if you have an old style bow,
Okay,
you
talking
often
about
get
archery, I'm just
burned
going to
by
skip
the-
ahead because it
just-
doesn't
I don't do
matter.
that kind of archery. That's why I'm confused.
Well, okay, sorry, you do real.
This kind.
Yeah.
You keep your hand like that.
Well,
That's a
but-
torque issue.
But like if you're a sniper, you know there are all
This
sorts
is
of things about
amazing.
breathing
This is
in
what's
your
coming
eye,
up.
how you adjust your eyes, and
Right.
you use your body as an instrument as a mathematician or a physicist. One of the reasons that I wish I were in better shape is that in order for me to keep my mind in a particular way, I have to not think constantly about suppressing food. You know, so what you're doing a very unnatural thing.
What?
And
This whole show is him rationalizing where he judges himself, where he thinks people are judging him. So the reason that he's not in better shape is because the rigorous way that he uses his mind as a physicist requires him to not be suppressing the urge to eat. So he has to eat constantly in service of being the most well-known mathematician in the whole world.
Right. Yeah.
They need to stop having him on. I just think it's gotten to the point where it's too
It is now
himself too much.
It is if it's not been clear to people before, it certainly should be clear now that like Joe Rogan is his podcast is obviously sponsored by a group of people that is like you can have on whoever you want between these regularly scheduled guests, period, end of story, right? And that's it. Like, you know, you can do whatever you want kind of else in between, right? But you have to have, you know, these people on this many times per year or whatever it is. And, you know, like, yeah, it just doesn't matter how, like, have they ever read the comment sections when he has some of these guests on? It's like, they're not fooling anybody, but that was just like the deal that they signed however many years ago that's the rule and that's the rule, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. Nuff said Steph 33.
Thank you, Nuff
for joining
said.
us. We love you. Okay, this is a short one. Fair use.
and that unnatural thing, not everybody can handle it.
Oh, wait. That was his body thing.
I'm trying to get that bag. So what they don't want is somebody saying like Bill Gates.
Right. I'm just,
I just wanna
looking out
help.
for
I
humanity
just
and
wanna
global
help.
health.
Exactly.
So what I'm doing, I'm engineering ticks so that they bite you and you get allergic to red meat, and I'm dropping them off from helicopters.
We're going to administer vaccines involuntarily through ticks.
Yeah, and mosquitoes.
Yeah. So all of this stuff really bothers people. It's
Yeah,
the
it should.
Well, it's the
Well, it's also he doesn't have any friends. You know, and he can't get any pussy anymore because he keeps getting caught.
He can get it.
But if we were smart, we'd feed that guy pussy.
He mentioned this multiple times about how much pussy he's getting and how many women are throwing themselves at him. It's a little bizarre.
At Eric?
Yes.
Eric is married, isn't he?
Yes, but apparently he's just like fighting them off because he's a cowboy physicist.
Wait, you just reenacted the voice of like one of your little finger puppets, which by the way, you haven't done a finger puppet show in a long time. I missed the finger puppets. But that
Do you
was
know
like
how much time they take for me to not get paid and like just show the world that
I can't think of any better any better spent than that though, right? But you just did it sounded like the little lizard guy and then you totally sounded like your puppet show. Okay.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
just a little bit from this one, more fair use.
See,
We did.
keep him happy.
We did.
We? I wasn't involved.
Neither was I.
Yeah, allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly?
Just kidding.
I didn't go to that island.
You didn't.
No.
No, you.
We can't skip that.
No, go back again.
Okay.
That kind of came out of nowhere. I need to hear what led into that because is that just that's Joe Rogan casually accusing Eric of having been to the island.
Correct.
I love it.
Okay, here we go.
You know, and he can't get any pussy anymore because he keeps getting caught.
He can get it.
But if we were smart, we'd feed that guy pussy.
We did.
Keep him happy.
We did.
We? I wasn't involved.
Neither was I.
Yeah, allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly?
Just kidding.
I didn't go to that island.
You didn't.
No.
No, you were one of the people that saw through him right away.
No, but he offered me partnership, and I didn't take it. And I regretted that for a while.
Because you would have been cha-ching.
I would have been made rich or deceased.
Probably both.
Probably both.
Where's the email
Yeah,
about
a
that?
couple times I've been offered
Pause.
real wealth. And
Where's the email? Can anybody find in the emails where Jeffrey Epstein offered Eric Weinstein partnership? One of our artistic listeners who likes to search through that bad database,
Right.
I would like to say, yeah, right. Maybe I bet you Eric really doesn't want them to release the rest of the emails because we'll find out that they never had any emails with each other.
Oh, for sure. And how many different, like vastly different stories have we heard from Eric about his relationship
Right.
with Jeffrey Epstein?
Right.
He met him one time. He met him 3 times. He was at his house. He saw spy cameras. Why was he interested in his math? Now they're partners? Like,
Right.
what? Why
Yeah.
did we not hear this? And he's about to say that he's never said this before. It's so
Okay.
crazy. Okay.
I would have been made rich or deceased.
I'm sorry. Was managing director at Teal Capital a minimum wage
Right.
job? Because last I checked, he was worth over $1 million.
Right.
Just, okay.
Probably both.
Probably both. Yeah, a couple times I've been offered real wealth and with crazy stuff, but the Epstein thing, I don't know that I've actually said that on a podcast. Yeah, he offered me partnership, and the only condition was that I had to get rid of my existing partners. Like I had to stab my partners in the back in order to become his partner.
Oh, yeah. So he'd own you. Yeah.
You know, it's like, show me that you're...
I don't want to sidetrack this, or I'll come back, but these two are 333.
Okay, that's it for this little section.
Okay.
Are you getting bored yet? Do you want to take a break from this and come back?
So let's see. Like, what do you think, audience? Like, should we take a break from Eric, or should we continue down the Eric rabbit hole?
Yeah, because I have, let's see, 1, 2,
Hi, Zara
3,
Laugh.
4, 5 left.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, Laura offers perhaps he's MPD, right? I guess that would be the
What's
most
MPD?
multiple personality disorder.
Eric?
Right? Yeah, that would be the most kind interpretation of this. Laura, always the sensitive one. Yes, I like that take though. All right. What are the options? The options are continuing down the Eric path or moving on to something else with the possibility of returning to the Eric path.
We can return. I just don't want to hog the show. What else do you have for us?
All right, well, let's go to some other stuff for now, and we'll come back to Eric if we feel like it.
Okay, cool.
So I have we can start with Tulsi Gabbard's replacement. or we can go to the AI data centers and Peter Thiel and whatnot. Like maybe we should do that because it's kind of connected to the Eric thing.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
I mean, they both are because it's like Amaryllis. They're all.
It's sort of a separate topic. It's a little bit of a separate topic though because yeah. So okay. All right, here we go. Let me share my
And thank you guys for weighing in. Much appreciated.
Let's see. Okay, so here we are. There we go. Share sound, optimize for video sharing. And here we go. James Lee, fair use.
Back to your regularly scheduled program.
Wait, can you
I'm gonna
pause
show you
for a
something real
sec?
quick.
Yeah.
James Kaplan 502 said Fonzie Weinstein has jumped the shark. Another good show title.
Fonzie Weinstein.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
The implied return on hyperscaler AI investment 2025 to 2030. What do you see that's wrong with this picture? There's no money to be made. According to the Financial Times, who are using what they call, quote, the most generous assumptions, the biggest tech companies invested in AI are not projected to make any money. Microsoft AI ROI at negative 9%, Google is at negative 15%, Meta at negative 28%, Oracle at negative 35%, only Amazon barely comes out positive. And even they have major reservations about AI from a commercial perspective.
I was in a group, a leadership group, and people were telling me, they're like, we think that with AI, we can replace all of our junior people in our company. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And yet, they want to build 3,000 more data centers. That doesn't make any sense unless what they're using them for is not in a commercial context.
By the way, I'm not playing this because I think people don't already know this. I'm playing this because I'm laying out the background for a narrative that I'm going to sow with the things that I'm playing here. Okay, cool. Continuing.
If you know what I mean.
Larry Ellison, second richest person.
Remember, we talked about this. That's about to be said about Larry Ellison a couple of times in the past.
Person on earth who's gobbling up a lot of the media in this country, who is a major investor in AI, predicts an AI-powered surveillance state is coming where, this is Larry Ellison, major investor, this is what he says, where citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that is going on, end quote.
Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
On July 13th, 2025, President Trump issued an executive order accelerating federal permitting of data center infrastructure, where he declared, quote, we will pursue bold, large-scale.
Did you hear the rumor that Trump had a stroke?
No.
No one's seen him in 8 days. And there's a rumor floating around that he had a stroke.
Interesting.
I have nothing confirmed, but I've
interesting.
seen that swirling today.
I would, that actually, you'll hear the narrative that I'm going to lay out, and maybe I'm going to think about whether there's anything that plays into.
Scale industrial plans to vault the United States further into the lead on critical manufacturing processes and technologies that are essential to national security, economic prosperity, and scientific leadership. You hear that? Essential to national security. On March 20th of 2026, President Trump issues another press release unveiling his National AI Legislative Framework, again, where he reiterated his administration's commitment to winning the AI race to usher in a new era of human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security for the American people. There it is again, national security.
The president wants us to be pro-innovation. He wants us to win the AI race against all other countries in the world. He recognizes that AI is going to be an important tool, not just for our economy, but for our military. And so he wants to ensure that we are winning that particular race.
Doesn't sound like the AI race is at all about powering chatbots or other commercial enterprise use cases at all. Seems like it's about national security. The question is, for which nation?
Congress is about to merge the U.S. military with Israel permanently, and they hid it inside of a 3,000-page bill.
The pro-Israel forces in Congress are trying to merge the U.S. and Israeli militaries. I'm not kidding.
If you actually look in to Section 224, you'll find it listed among the top priorities of the U.S. Congress. It's not just merging American troops and American military hardware with Israel, it's merging America's AI infrastructure and autonomous weapons systems with Israel as well. They keep telling us that all these data centers, thousands of them, they're vital to national security. Well, now, under the 2027 NDAA, Israel will gain access to them, which has always been the plan. These data centers, they aren't about powering ChatGPT on your smartphone. They aren't about keeping you safe. They're about powering a surveillance state that reports back to Greater Israel.
Back in March of this year, a hack in the Department of Homeland Security shone a light on the agency's AI surveillance ambitions, exposing over 1,400 funded contracts worth a combined $845 million, showing that the federal government is heavily funding private sector companies to develop advanced mobile biometrics, automated CCTV tracking, and predictive policing systems. Now, publicly, we already know that the Pentagon has a $9 billion joint warfighting cloud capability contract with companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Oracle. Recent reports indicate that the sequel, dubbed JWCC Next, will similarly be a multi-award contract, but quote, at a bigger scale than its predecessor. So while you might see the logos of Amazon or Google or Microsoft on the sides of these massive AI data center facilities the size of New York City, and this is important because functionally these buildings actually belong to the military surveillance industrial complex, and that is by design, as this arrangement, this public-private partnership, allows them to spy on you 24/7, allegedly, while laundering your Fourth Amendment protections through this private corporate shield, because technically they don't belong to the US government or military. Which, oh, by the way, could be fusing with Israel. But if you don't want them built, you're either a bot or a CCP spy. According to a new report from independent journalist Ken Klippenstein, a new congressional intelligence agency has just been created to track anti-AI data center protesters.
Protesters, activists, local citizens using their constitutional rights to say, hey, whether it's a city council meeting, whether it's a planning board meeting, saying we don't want these extractive technologies in our neighborhood, those organizations, those individuals are now being thrown into a huge dragnet under the category of anti-technology extremism. So whether that's people posting jokes online or on forums, saying, man, I hope this thing overheats and blows up so we don't have to stare at it every day and hear the hum, pulsating through our bones, or whether it's just, mom and pop store owners, farmers, you name it, organizing to show up to their local town hall to say, we don't want this in our community. Those people are being surveilled. Those people are being criminalized.
It's right here. Came by because I'm trying to organize a community.
That's kind of odd, given that they're training and creating all these activists from scratch. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this whole activist trend we have is not natural or organic. It's because they've been created by the powers that were, but now the powers that were have a problem with them because they've gone rogue and are going after things they weren't told to go after.
So let's listen to this next little bit, and then I'm going to stop. This is the last little part of the clip, and then I'll respond to that before I start laying out the rest of the narrative.
Yep.
Protest against a representative who's trying to push in a data center owned by a out-of-state company, trying to suck up all our energy. I made a post. I made an event on Facebook trying to organize the community to get together. And what's your badge number? Name and badge number?
Detective Henson.
And name and badge number?
Sure. SHRP and it's 160.
Okay. Yeah. No, I have a First Amendment right to protest, and if I organize a protest on a public road, there's nothing wrong with that. I sent an email to that representative, and I can show you the email. I never made a threat.
Well, we disagree, and our state's attorney disagrees. Okay, so you're going to be charged today for a couple of offenses.
Seriously? I'm going to get charged for what?
For stalking and intimidation.
For stalking? When did I ever go to his house?
So we'll explain that to you more. Okay, so you are going to be placed under arrest right now, okay? All right.
Okay. That's right.
Okay, we'll stop it right there.
Why are the cops dressed like that?
It's fucking weird, right? Like, can you? I just
it's
can't
like they work at Florsheim Shoes or something.
I forgot about Florsheim Shoes. You see that at Northridge Mall, yeah. Okay, so first of all, a couple of things. like generally, at least in the last like 10 to 12 years that we've been covering these kinds of things or whatever it is, most of the protester stuff has been about like race stuff, gender stuff, or, you know, climate stuff.
Right. Which,
Right?
by the way, has disappeared because we need data centers. So
Correct.
that whole psyop just
Correct.
boom.
Right. So it's one of two things are possible that they really don't want protesters for against this, right? At least not yet. This is we're in the early days of this. They haven't created their right, or this is their creation, right? And not, maybe not that guy who's being videoed there, but they're creating the fear campaign around it, and then they'll offer up, you know, these very famous data center protesters to, you know, we're not far enough into this yet. Like it has just happened in the past like week or so that like, I'm not saying this wasn't obvious. I mean, obviously my obsession with Peter Thiel and Larry Ellison has always been about that this is like surveillance state shit and this is right. But like generally it's been like different people doing the AI stuff than doing the surveillance stuff. And so, you know, it doesn't take a genius to connect the fact that like, oh, like the surveillance stuff really takes a lot more, you know, energy and power and compute to do than AI stuff does. But people are only starting to understand really how AI works because people are using Chat GPT and people are starting to experiment with different things, and they're figuring out that like, well, we already have like a pretty advanced level of that with what we have now. What is the so much more going to be unless it really is just about military stuff or surveillance stuff or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So this is like, you know, become people that 2 years ago were protesting, you know, the Russiagate story or protesting, you know, the fact that the government, you know, the January 6th stuff or whatever. Now they're concerned with this, right? So this has been a big shift from like one kind of narrative to a different kind of narrative. And whether it's controlled or not, it's like a different, pretty far different topic than what people were protesting just 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like it's like they trained their protesters, and I do think the protesters have gone rogue and maybe with this AI stuff are thinking for themselves, and that doesn't work for the lizard class.
Right, and they haven't developed their own counter protesters yet or whatever.
Correct.
Okay, so but this narrative has just become pretty big in the last week or two, right? And in the last week or two, we also have a new story about Peter Thiel, and we'll go to Julian Dory to give us just the very quick, soundbite on what that is. Fair use.
But anyway, back to this article right here. The investor became more interested in Argentina as he
Is he blow drying his hair to get it to move that way?
I don't understand his hair gets worse all the time. I don't understand it. Like when I first started noticing Julian Dory, right, he looked relatively normal to me, and like he gets stranger and stranger and stranger looking, and the fashion choices I don't understand. Usually the more successful people become, like the more they can pay someone to help them with that. If they're not naturally good at it, they don't generally get worse at it. Right. I don't know what's going on.
Right. And to be clear, if I had 4 cameras in my room right now, my hair would look like shit too, but I'm not playing that game.
Right. Also, like, it's not hard, like, unless you're one of the Weinstein brothers, it's not hard for men to make their hair look good. It's much harder for women.
Right.
As the proposal gained traction in California about the wealth tax and was considering cutting ties with California by the end of the year. His investment firm, Teal Capital, as I said, is in Miami, yada, yada, yada. Okay, go down. But you know who won't be here for the nuclear winter? Joey Deef.
Who?
You know who.
Our old pal, the old salamander himself.
Yeah.
What was your nickname you gave him?
The reptile.
No, the other one.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I have not Googled this yet, but I was like, how have people not thought of this? Probably they have.
He thinks he's so clever here, and this is like one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, but
my dumbass just hasn't seen it. But for Peter Thiel, who is the founder of Palantir, I was like, Palantir. I was really proud of that.
It kind of goes along with his hairdo, right?
But
Who's really proud of that?
Peter Thiel, has left America.
Oh my God,
He
I
has
can't.
packed up with his family and moved to Argentina.
Nice.
And there's a lot going on in the details here. So we're devil's in the details, pun intended. We're going to dig through. But billionaires from the New York Post. Hasta la vista, baby.
That's good.
That is pretty
That was good. Good
Whoever
job,
wrote that, good copy.
Ariel Zibler.
Zilber. Ariel Zilber.
Good one.
Good one. Billionaire investor Peter Thiel reportedly moved his family from the U.S. to Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, as a refuge from high taxes, political turmoil, and potential catastrophes like nuclear war and an AI meltdown. All right, let me back this up for a second. An AI meltdown that he's helping bring in, nuclear war that through his many political maneuverings and technocratic maneuverings, he's also helped create a threat for. That's neither here nor there, though. The PayPal co-founder and longtime Silicon Valley power player has met privately with Argentine President Javier Milei, purchased a mansion in one of Buenos Aires' most exclusive neighborhoods, and temporarily relocated his family to the South American nation, according to the New York Times. Sources told the paper that Thiel made the move due to concerns about the political direction of the U.S., especially in California, where over half of voters support a proposed wealth tax on billionaires. Can't have that, Peter. The investor became more interested in Argentina as the proposal gained traction and was considering cutting ties with California by the end of the year, the Times reported. His private investment firm, Thiel Capital, opened an office in Miami's Wynwood.
This is a psyop. I don't believe that all these people are publicly leaving California and taking issue.
It's definitely a psyop.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Wood neighborhood where, by the way, Joey Deep, he's had like a big compound there now for several years. So I guess he never made it his official residence.
I guess, yeah.
I guess not. I guess that wasn't an option. But he had to go to. That's the thing. It's like, why is he going to Argentina when he's got Miami set up? Tax-free state, Florida income.
Yeah, well, it's usually where they send the Nazis.
All right. So the interesting part to me about this is if you noticed in like all of the things that James Lee was laying out, Palantir was not mentioned.
No.
Oracle, right? Amazon, Microsoft, there was a couple of others.
Yep.
Right? But, I think one of the things that definitely did happen, and this is not in any way like, oh, someone's a good guy or excusing someone, is part of what's been going on in this Trump administration, which probably goes on in other administrations as well, but it's just very plain and obvious in this one in a way that's just highlights it, is that all of these people who seemingly came together to get him elected were really in competition with one another for contracts, for positions of power, for influence, for getting his ear, for being cabinet members, all of that kind of stuff. And like, obviously at a certain point, like Elon was kind of cut out of certain stuff. That doesn't mean he doesn't still have government contracts, but he didn't have the president's ear anymore. And it seems to lean more and more towards Sam Altman and Larry Ellison and all this kind of stuff, right? My guess is one of the things that's going on, and again, something can be a psyop and there can be disagreements amongst the people who are performing the psyop or whatever it is, right? Is that, last year we were hearing about all these contracts that Peter Thiel had with Palantir, how Palantir was going to be responsible, like whatever they were doing, like when Elon did the Doge thing, it was going to be like the Palantir software that collated and correlated all of the different agency stuff. And because that's what Palantir is. Palantir is more like a file, like cross-referencing files to like figure some more stuff out. It's that more than it is really storing things about people or whatever it is. I'm not saying that isn't a step on the way to storage, but maybe someone else is storing it. He's just the person who's like making all the disparate pieces of information make sense. Correlating it, right? He's pulling together the narrative, right? And, I have always seen, like, of all of these people, for me, the two that I've always been the most bothered by have been Peter Thiel and Larry Ellison.
Yeah.
Right. And I have seen them as unlikely as like these strange bedfellows that probably don't really like each other but have worked together quite a bit. And there's like obvious areas that you can see from publicly available information where they've worked together, but also in a lot of my sort of own personal background running narratives about some of the events that have taken place that have captured the attention of the American people and that have never been resolved. I see roles that they have played that where they probably were making deals with each other, but each one of them have always been suspicious of the other and waiting for their moment to. And it would not surprise me. Like right now, it seems to be, if you look at everything that's going on, right? There was another story I was going to include today that was like about that longtime 60 Minutes reporter being fired by Barry Weiss and then her lying about like what happened or whatever.
Yep.
The complete takeover of the media. One thing that is different about Peter Thiel than Larry Ellison is Peter Thiel is uncomfortable talking about whatever his negative associations with Israel is. He'd rather not talk about it. He doesn't like getting called out. Larry Ellison's out there like, I'm giving all my money to the IDF and blah, blah, blah. He's very pro that. And whatever the fuck is going on, this administration has turned into like literally like we're turning the US government over to Israel, right?
Literally, not even an exaggeration.
It wouldn't surprise me if one of two things were true, or maybe even more, that Peter Thiel is really not into that. Like, he's like, yes, you do that, but you don't be so obvious about it. Or like maybe Peter Thiel's interest in, being sort of involved in some of this Israel stuff is really not about being pro-Israel. It's just more about, well, he just wants information on everybody. And so for him to be able to go in there and practice doing that stuff with Palantir, whatever it is, he doesn't doing it because he loves Israel. He just like wants to do that. So whoever's going to let him do that, he's going to do that. Right.
Yeah.
But he likes to sort of pose as like, at least in some ways, having sort of certain sort of, it's a lie, but libertarian tendencies, right? And like just being so overt about like, no, we're just going to record everyone all the time. Everyone's going to be under constant surveillance. We're going to record and whatever, everything. Like that's just really not his style, right? And because he was both bedfellows with Larry Ellison, but also really in competition at the time that they decided we're going to go with Larry Ellison, right? Because if you pay attention to a lot of things that have been going on in the last couple of weeks, it's very clear that Oracle is really going to be at the forefront of all of them. Yeah. Not only are we going with Larry Ellison, but we kind of really need to do away with Peter Thiel. When I say do away, I don't mean like that they would do something with him because that would be too obvious. But like, we're going to start cutting him out of some of all this stuff. Right. And so, for him, he's already angered, and that doesn't mean they're not still going to use his software. He's angered enough people that unless he has the like support and protection of all of the other people he's in cahoots with, right, probably he would feel a little uncomfortable walking around out on the street. Like he's done a lot of bullshit to sell, every human being on the planet, down the river type of thing. But I think, he may be on some levels in genuine disagreement, and he's participated in some things that people want answers for. And so I think they're going to try and leave him possibly holding the bag for some of that. And that doesn't make him good. I'm not saying, oh, we should all support Peter Thiel or whatever it is. But there's a lot of arguing amongst the people who are fucking everything up. Right. And of course, Javier Milei is like the kind of faux libertarian that Peter Thiel likes, like the kind of libertarian that is like, libertarian for the wealthy people, but, authoritarian for the lower class people or whatever it is. Yeah. And yes, it's also true that Argentina has always been a protective colony for the Nazis. And based on the background information, and we never finished it because things got a little kooky. Maybe we'll finish it. The background that we laid out in a couple of episodes of regular Words Podcast, which you can find at wordspodcast.locals.com. Promo code welcome to words 26, all one word in capital. We were really looking into his background and how the ideology that he was raised with was really a leftover relic from the Nazis, right? Or at least from some sort of like European fascist supremacist kind of ideology. Maybe it wasn't so simple
Who
as
happened to favor the swastika.
right? And who, where he grew up in South Africa in like a German white colony there and whatever it is, right? So two things are true. Like his role, like the United States has always been fond of using Nazis, right? And the United States is also pretty happy to discard of someone when they're done with them, and then they need other kinds of protection because they're right. So both things can be true. He's still awful, and he's also had a falling out with some of the other awful people. And so now he's just painting it as, oh, it's like taxes. And so when he says it's the AI meltdown, like I wouldn't surprise me if he had a different idea about what AI should, or what these data centers or AI should be used for than they do, which doesn't mean his idea is good. It's just different than theirs. So I do think that these two stories coming out at the exact same time and in parallel to one another, like they're connected. There's something going on that is not none of it means anything good for the general people, but something different than the way they're explaining it is what's going on here, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So I also wonder if this isn't theater for their good old Hegelian dialectic synthesis. So if they're creating the appearance of conflict amongst these guys and sending him off to Argentina where his family probably already has a ranch.
Sure.
And then he'll come back.
It can also then be like let's just say a little down the road, and maybe this is where they're really trying to take us, is, we have to do something about the way we govern, because even fine Americans like Peter Thiel have gone down to Argentina, where they have a more pro-Israel and a more, pro-Bitcoin or pro-libertarian, whatever the fuck it is. Whenever they do any of these things, like even if they are in some weird way anti-Peter Thiel right now, they always set it up so it can be folded back in, right? It could be folded back into some other narrative that becomes the primary narrative further down the line. 100%.
Yep. So two things. One, do you remember, because Melissa Futrial 466, when did we talk about Dr. Jack Cruz? Was it when he was on Dani Jones?
I mean, that was probably we've talked about him several times over the years, but probably the last main time was either when he was on Dani Jones, or some point during the election in relation to RFK and Nicole shenanigans.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm just trying to get us a little bit caught up. We have not talked about the missing scientists. It seems very obvious to me what is going on there. Do you have a take on it?
I think it's PSYOP. But it's simple. It's I mean, okay, I have a more nuanced opinion of it than that. But it's one of these things. I think it's a directed energy weapon, that these kinds of things that I talk about, where they want people to spend a lot of time looking into this and thinking about this and whatever it is. They folded a lot of things together that there is quite a bit of difference between some of those things. I haven't looked deeply into it, but I've listened a little bit. But it reminds me a lot of the, all the dead naturopaths back in 2017, all of that kind of stuff. That, I'm sure there's some truth to the fact that for some of them, there's something funny going on, but there's a reason they want to group all of these people together. And there's a reason that they want people to look at this as being one whole thing, right? We never got anywhere with the missing scientists. Obviously, a couple, or the murdered naturopaths and natural health people. Obviously, a couple of years later, we got COVID, and so there had been taken out some people who would have been the most effective voices. That's certainly a possible narrative. I think it's also entirely possible that there's I have a feeling there's probably also a sort of cartel hand in the battle between pharmaceuticals and natural and supplements.
Yeah.
Right. So it could be something more along the lines of that the convenient narrative to sell to the public is oh, these people were dangerous information. I think there's when we're talking about exotic technologies and designer drugs that could even facilitate, I don't think it was on this show, but on a couple of my shows, I played that interview that Aubrey did that time with that guy who like took that strange drug where he was like jumping dimensions and whatever it was, right? Like my guess would be that there's a lot
Was
of
it salvia? That's a salvia
no,
thing.
it wasn't.
Okay.
It was. I mean, it was. He was basically kidnapped by
Okay.
Russians in China in Macau, and
Okay.
taken to some place and dosed with it. And there was another person who was in the room with him also being dosed with it. And they would like he would be. It was he was drinking something, right? And he would be in the room with this other guy who he didn't know, like didn't know otherwise. And then all of a sudden he'd be in this other room that was like a boardroom, and like they were able to see each other's thoughts, basically, right? Like they were able to communicate by showing each other their thoughts. And like the thoughts would be like on the board in the boardroom kind of thing, like, you know, the pictures of what was going on in their mind. Then they'd be back in the hotel room sitting there, and then they'd be back there. It was like, you know, a demonstration of being able to jump you in and out of various realities and you know, whatever it is, right? So I think with some of these technologies and some of these drugs, right, there's you know, not just the kind of like, oh, we don't want them to know that people want to know the truth, and there's people who don't want to know the truth. I think there's also like cartel aspects to this over like who's going to control the market for these things, who's going to facilitate these experiences, you know, all of that kind of stuff that are a part that we don't think about as much because we're so like obsessed with this like truth, you know, knowing the truth versus not knowing the truth, rather than like who's going to manage the entirety of the situation when it comes to fruition. I think there's a big war over that. And I think that it's, you know, like, I think that's part of that. But I also think that like, you know, I mean, people are folding like David Wilcock into that story. And I'm just like, yeah, no. Right. Like, I can't tell you how many newbies, like people who 5 years ago were not in this space, but now they are. And they're like equating David Wilcock with like a, you know, like an anti-gravity propulsion, you know, scientist or whatever. And that his death was part of the dead scientists. And I'm just like, oh, no, he's like, you know, one of the biggest charlatans there's ever been. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, that's where I see the crossover between them. And then I realize I forgot to comment on the AI piece. Is that I think they're taking all of these scientists out because they're about to pull Project Bluebeam and they don't want any like grounded pushback. And I think David Wilcox as charlatan was kind of lumped into that to lend more legitimacy
yeah,
to what
yeah.
this is about and what he's been on about, but he probably isn't
There's
even
no
really
part
dead.
of the psyop that will go unused, right?
Correct.
So just like what we were saying about the third part that they'll roll him back into later with Peter Thiel, same stuff, right? There's they don't let any part of this stuff ever go to waste.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you heard that Bill Gates is now tied in with Agentic, the Claude AI, which I find is fascinating given that he's on trial in the Netherlands and it seems to be going the way of justice.
Mm-hmm.
And I also find it odd that Sam Altman and ChatGPT are still in the mix when ChatGPT sucks shit and Sam Altman can't even pretend to not be a sociopath for 2 seconds.
Right.
Like, why would we like him more than Peter Thiel?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's an either or. I think Peter Thiel does a different thing and serves a different purpose. But I also think that Peter Thiel is much smarter than either. I think Sam Altman is pretty smart, but Peter Thiel is like, I mean, not
diabolical.
The kind of intelligence that, right? I don't think Bill Gates is smart. And even if Bill Gates gets in trouble personally, like he has set up all his foundations and things like that he would still be able to influence what's going on in the public, or whoever runs him will still be able to use that to influence public affairs and public events and, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, like, yeah, you know, I really think that like what part of what's happening with the Peter Thiel thing is like they needed his brain to get to where they are right now, but now his brain has become possibly an annoyance to them, right? And so they want to sort of discard him, but they would never have been able to build the system that they have without him. And if you listen, right, like, you know, like, yeah, right. I mean, remember we dove kind of into the possible character that may have been Peter Thiel in the Coup de 12 or the the Enterprise and Empire thing or whatever it was. And then what David Martin had to say about it. Not that we trust David Martin, but like what he had to say about Peter Thiel, which I'm, disappointed he didn't say it 10 or 12 or 14 years ago, which would have been helpful. But that really tracked for me, right? And that he was, kind of one of these characters sort of in the book. And that whole operation was about pulling people together who had pieces of the pie that they needed in order to put together the whole pizza, right? And so now if the pizza is complete and it is these people are always arrogant and they always think they're there before they're really actually there. It would be like one of the things that could be like the way that they would discard him. And I'm not even saying that I think this is what's happening. This is just something my mind is doing as a thought experiment, right? Is that, to me, like some of the most neglected parts of both the Charlie Kirk investigation and the Las Vegas investigation have been the not paying more attention to what possible role Palantir or Peter Thiel and Larry Ellison or Oracle could have had in it. And in one of the things that, does get mentioned from time to time, and could become part of whatever bogus kangaroo court trial that we're going to have with Tyler Robinson, is that Palantir did own the property that the rifle was found on.
For Vegas?
No, for Charlie Kirk.
Okay, because it is crazy to me how in the news the Vegas shooting is. Eric even mentioned it on this Joe Rogan. Like, why are they bringing that into the narrative in 2026?
Okay, you and I can
Maybe
do a show.
for the pre-policing?
I've been doing something in the background that I haven't figured out where I will talk about it or who I will talk about it with.
Okay.
Because there's part of me that just doesn't even want to be involved in any. So I'll do it in our regular show. It'll be behind the paywall. I can say my thing and whatever. Perfect. But in my head, there is so much connective tissue between the Las Vegas event and the Charlie Kirk event, right? That the reason that the investigation into Las Vegas got revived at the same time the Charlie Kirk thing happened is because they're trying to cover those tracks.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you, High Heart Wellness. It was just announced that Anthropic formed a $200 million partnership with the Gates Foundation. But you're right.
You said angenic. I was like, what is angenic? Anthropic. Okay. I didn't know what angenic was.
Oh, sorry. Anthropic.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay. Where were we?
Did you have any more on the Thiel Palantir?
No, that was it on that. We'll just watch how this plays out. I'm not saying that is the fact, but my mind is seeing, things that connect these two seemingly separate, but stories happening at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I definitely think there's something there.
All right. Should we go to the Tulsi Amaryllis story?
Yes. Can I give us a palate cleanser with my 1 minute Amanda Peet clip?
Please.
It might be 1.5.
That's okay.
But this is my gift for you. Okay, fair use. Yes, I've been listening to more trash lately just to cleanse my palate from the years of sham show bullshit.
Yep.
And I thought this little tidbit was very interesting. Here we go, fair use.
I think they go back years as staunch Democrats on my mom's side, liberals. So the social work isn't that weird, but she was she was a Russian government major at Smith in the 50s, height of the Cold War.
Yeah.
Went to work at the CIA.
Oh, wow.
So she could read Russian. So she was in the department, I'm acting it out, where
doing nice space work right now. Really nice.
The Cuban Missile Crisis, she was in that office, and I don't really know why she segued out of that.
So she was a badass too. So your dad married his mom. Well, that holds. Yeah.
You may not be that wrong about that.
Yeah.
This is something I talk about and think about a lot.
You have a boy or boys? You have 3 kids. Or
I have 2 girls and then a baby boy who's 11. He's not a baby. But my sister and her husband met essentially in cadaver class in medical school. And he aside from David, I would say their marriage is the most 50-50 childcare. Their marriage is 50-50 childcare.
Yeah.
Like I had a friend over, they used to come every holiday, like the Christmas holidays. And Jeff, like, who's a professor of epidemiology and works at CHOP in pediatric infectious diseases, just like walked through our kitchen, like living area with like a load of laundry. And my girlfriend was like,
For the listeners, there's an aghast look on your face.
like, just like, what's happening?
What am I observing?
Yeah. How did she find a husband like that? And I was kind of like, what else is there?
Exactly. Oh, that's so interesting.
Was David's mom a gangster?
I think she's a gangster in a certain way, but and you know, she went to Cornell and that's how they met.
So he was looking for a smart gal as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But his career took precedence over hers. I think she would be okay with me saying that.
Yeah. Well, was he the Fed chair at one point? He was the CEO of Goldman Sachs.
Yes.
And I think he worked at the Fed as well.
He worked under Bush.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Right? I mean, she's very open about it. She's not trying to, right? It's kind of interesting. So people used to tell me that I look like her or she looked like me. I don't know which one of us is older.
How did you receive that feedback?
I mean, I think the first time someone said it, I didn't know who she was.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I didn't have like a frame of something, like I didn't have an opinion about it. Right. Like I've been told I look like lots of different people over the years. Right. So, lots of different people look like me. So it's just like another one of those. But it's interesting that her mother was like Russian government stuff. Cause like, I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before or on the show, but my father traveled as a young boy to the Soviet Union with my grandmother, just the two of them, right? For a fairly lengthy period of time.
Well, I know your grandmother had some weird Russian ties, right?
I mean, my grandmother had all kinds of weird stuff going on, but my dad, like when he was like, that was his, like when he was like 12 or something like that. I know what we'll do. Let's go away. Just your mother and, it was just him and his mom for like months, I think for like at least weeks, but maybe months to the Soviet Union during the Cold War.
That's weird.
Right? So it's interesting that she has
Yeah.
something like that as well. Yeah.
And her husband was chairman of the Fed. Like
No, her husband's dad.
Oh, her husband's
Her
dad.
husband's dad. Yeah.
Those are a lot of like she reads spy to me. Like that's just
Sure.
way too many credentials for this lady.
Lots of Hollywood people are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. But like it was interesting, like she seems to really understand and know what's going on. She didn't strike me as a dum-dum.
No. She's
Yeah.
smart as fuck.
Yeah, she's
like
super
I think she
smart.
went to Harvard or something or
I didn't know that.
Columbia. Like she's an Ivy Leaguer. She's smart.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Here we go for during my retreat from basically like I've just been like ignoring almost everything except for tennis and techno for the past couple of weeks based on just
Smart move.
life, what's happening here. But you did mention to me, I think it was while I was in Detroit, you sent me a text asking me if I had heard that Amaryllis Fox replaced Tulsi Gabbard.
Yep.
And I had not heard that. But but somehow it didn't spur me to go looking for it. So you reminded me of that today, and I went looking for it, and I couldn't find anything. Right? I literally could find nothing. The only thing that I could find when I went looking for this was there was this video that is just an AI reading something, and it wasn't what you were saying. This is the only video on YouTube that references Amaryllis Fox in the last year. There's been nothing since her Tucker interview.
Can we take a moment with this? Because when I threw that out at you this morning, it was just me being lazy because I had assumed, I'm sure our usual alt media cabal has covered this.
No one has covered
It's crazy to me that no one has
covered this. But here's what so the weirdest part to me, right? It's not weird because we know a lot about Amaryllis Fox. And for those of you who've only joined us recently, I think there's references to her names in some of the episodes that are about her. There's probably other episodes that are about her where there's not. But we've been covering her for a couple of years. And there is not a single video about her on YouTube since her interview with Tucker more than a year ago. This is the only one. It's not even mentioned in the title. I had to dig down farther. But in fact, she did not replace Tulsi Gabbard. Apparently, she stepped down before Tulsi Gabbard stepped down.
What?
So this is an AI reading. So after I listened to this, I went to see if I could find any information, and I can't believe nobody's reported on this. So I Googled Amaryllis Fox steps down, and here we have Amaryllis Fox Kennedy, a top intelligence official and daughter-in-law of HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, stepped down from two of her administration posts, which means she has more than two, right? Which is already, we should be suspicious, right? Two of her administration posts in May 2026. Policy Deputy to Director of National. So she was working for Tulsi Gabbard. She was the Policy Deputy Director under Tulsi and Senior Intelligence Officer at the Office of Management and Budget.
It's also sad, and I'm not taking issue with the reporting, but that all we have for this is people.com.
No, I have something else. I have there's a Washington Post story that I can't open because I won't subscribe or give them my information.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so there is that. There's also a Yahoo story that I have here in just a second. So context, she departed her roles as Associate Director for Intelligence and International Affairs and Deputy Director of National Intelligence for Policy and Capabilities. Family reasons. May 8th, she did that, which was before Tulsi stepped down. So in a May 8th email to staff, Fox Kennedy stated she was leaving the private sector adjacent posts to keep her family financially on track. Sorry, she's leaving. She's going back to the private sector is what it means, and to spend more time with her children before they leave for college.
So pause, because Tulsi's excuse for leaving was also they're both pulling the same thing. Okay.
Correct. Okay. Policy disagreements. Reports from outlets like the Washington Post and the Independent, neither of which I could read because I wouldn't sign up, cited sources suggesting the exit was partially driven by disagreement with President Trump's war with Iran. However, Fox Kennedy publicly refuted these claims on social media, writing that she stood with the president every step of the way. So we have both of them who, in terms of the intelligence that they're delivering, disagree with the Iran war, but publicly are supporting the president and stepping down for reasons that they're stating are family. Okay? All right. Continued service. While she left her two executive branch jobs, she retained her positions on the president's Intelligence Advisory Board and the Intelligence Oversight Board. So she's still advising the president and in on all the conversations about what's going on. Okay, so she's got 2 feet out and 2 feet in. Apparently she's got 4 feet.
Yep. Well, she's a fox.
She's a fox. Yes, you're right. Very good. I don't know how I missed that. Thank you. I don't know what. Okay. So, and there is a Yahoo article about. Oh, I think I closed the Yahoo article about it. Okay. So this is basically now to me, it's very convenient timing. It's 2026. If RFK or Tulsi were going to run for president in 2028, this allows her to be able to run their campaigns and still be attached to the intelligence because she needs to know what's going on. The idea is going to be to fool the American people into thinking something different is happening based on having Tulsi or RFK. But really, it would just be new boss, same as the old boss shit.
So are you talking about Tulsi or Amaryllis?
I think that it's possible either Tulsi or Robert F. Kennedy could run for president and that Amaryllis Fox would manage that.
Agreed. So the only real reporting I've seen on this, I believe, came from Jimmy Dore, I think. And he was saying that there were rumors swirling for a month before Tulsi stepped down that the Trump administration was going to let her go anyway.
Sure. Yes, right. Like it's been obvious she's been cut out of certain meetings that, by the way, Amaryllis Fox is in on. Based on the roles that are said here. Tulsi has been cut out of certain meetings for a long time because, she kept basically saying that there's no imminent threat from Iran.
Yep.
And she, at the same time, she said the president gets to do whatever he wants. She said that. She said there's no imminent threat, but she basically lied and said the president doesn't have to listen to the intelligence or go to Congress to declare war. She's like, because she believes in ultimate authority, because one day she'd like that for herself. So she's not going to go against that, right?
Correct.
And also, like, all of her, she does make moral stances, but only when they're in line with the cult beliefs that she comes from.
Correct.
Right. And so everybody, there's so many people who think Tulsi is such a moral person. And like, on one level, I mean, they're easily deceived, but they're not wrong. It's because they don't understand her actual background. So they do see her taking moral positions. They see her sometimes not. In their head, they're writing it off like, well, you have to, compromise and overlook some things to get the bigger thing done and blah, blah, blah. Right. But yeah, so I'm very, this is more, I am more suspicious of this situation than I would have been if she actually were replacing her.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, she's not replacing her, but this is who is replacing. You're going to love this fucking shit.
That's
right here.
crazy.
All right, now we're fair using with the Young Turks. Here we go.
I admire Joe Kent and am grateful that, he made a point when he left of like saying why, but I personally would much rather have him on the inside. I'd much rather have Tulsi Gabbard on the inside. If Tulsi Gabbard hadn't been on the inside, would we have had a public airing of the assessment is they are nowhere near having a nuclear weapon? If Mark Wayne Mullen had been in that job, do you think he would have said that? Or do you think he could have been manipulated by the White House before that testimony to say something else?
Well, the new acting director of national intelligence will not be Mark Wayne Mullen, thankfully. It's going to be someone even worse than that, because President Donald Trump has decided to appoint Bill Pulte, a real estate developer with absolutely no national security or intelligence experience whatsoever. And that's going to be the person replacing, at least temporarily, Tulsi Gabbard in the office of DNI.
Yeah, they're making a mockery of our government. So who is this rando? And he's going to be in charge of national intelligence? To me, it has a couple of components, Anna.
Yeah.
One is we don't care about running the government well at all. We don't care about you guys. We don't care if we miss a threat because Donald Trump decided to put his shoeshine boy as head of director of national intelligence when he doesn't know a single thing about intelligence. The second thing it tells me, Anna, is they're thinking, what difference does it make? We get all of our intelligence from Israel anyway.
Well, look, you might think that Trump is exaggerating by referring to Pulte as Trump's shoeshine boy.
Cenk isn't exaggerating.
What did I say?
Trump.
Ooh, that hurts. Okay, sorry about that. Misspoke, obviously. No, but it's not much of an exaggeration once you learn how Trump got to know Pulte in the first place. So let's get into the details. So while Pulte, by the way, currently serves in the Trump administration in a completely different role, okay? So he intends to continue in his role as the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency and chair of Fannie Mae Freddie Mac. Now, did he have any experience with the regulatory world? No, of course not. Pulte had no government experience before Trump appointed him to lead the Federal Housing Finance Agency. Shortly after arriving at the agency, he began to gut it, firing sizable chunks of the boards of both and appointing himself as chair. Now, if you're wondering, well, what is this guy's background? He's an heir to a real estate developer empire that was built by his papa. He's the clown, by the way, who also floated the idea of a 50-year mortgage, which Trump decided to put out there and received a lot of backlash, including from his own base over the.
So we'll stop there. The guy who suggested 50-year mortgages has replaced Tulsi Gabbard. He's never been in government until now, right? He has no intelligence background at all. And this is a person, apparently, I'm just gonna summarize what else I learned in this video, who he was a donor to Trump. And during the period of time that he was like a donor to Trump and he was trying to get in with Trump, he would go to some golf club that, not Mar-a-Lago, but some golf club that either Trump owns or Trump golfs at in Virginia, right? He would go there and there was strict instructions from to the club not to let that guy get anywhere near Trump when Trump was unattended by security or whatever it is. So somehow this guy eventually influenced his way.
Blackmail.
Right? Or just kissed his ass, enough or whatever it is because Trump likes that. So yeah, so that's who's replacing Tulsi, which makes me be like, Amaryllis Fox would have been better. This is fucking terrible.
But the fact that they announced Amaryllis and now she's not, what else are they doing with her?
Where did they announce her?
Like I said, I thought it was Jimmy Dore. Let me look it up.
I mean, Jimmy Dore, like, I mean, we all appreciate Jimmy, but the fact is he gets everything wrong before he gets it right. So this must have been one of those things.
Of course. But there must have been a press release or something to have him doing a show on. It was either him or I think it was him.
So I couldn't find any evidence of what you're saying, right? But I also, like, you know, we're not in the same world every day, and so right.
Like, I mean, maybe it's a Mandela effect,
right?
Thing.
I'm not questioning that you heard that right. I'm not questioning that you heard that,
right?
Because I would imagine that you'd get super excited about that. You wouldn't get that wrong because that's one of our ongoing threads. So apparently, this guy is who Trump has picked, and right underneath. Oh, I found the Yahoo story. Okay, right underneath the Yahoo story on this, which we don't need to read because it just repeats things we already know, but I was just letting you know there was another source besides People, right? RFK Jr.'s daughter-in-law exits 2 jobs because of Donald Trump's Iran war, right? And then underneath it, Democrats wouldn't trust Jesus. So Mike Johnson is mad that the Democrats don't want to allow this Bill Pulte guy as the replacement, right? So, you know, they call... Mike Johnson, he works for the Democrats, even though he's supposed to be a Republican. So right here, so
he's whatever whoever's, fattening up his pockets tells him to be.
No, he's just completely blackmailed. He's like got that like whole weird background where he's like doesn't have a bank account and he's like never had a real job where he got paid everything. Like he has like one of those real strange. He's got like a real strange background, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like. This guy, I mean, look at the way he looks right there. That's like some Stuart Smalley, Jack Handy kind of look right there. Like, I'm sure he was involved in all of the like rescuing boys from abusive families and drug abuse, which always means I'm a secret PDF file, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. My favorite Jack Handy back in the day was I told my nephew that I was taking him to Disneyland, but instead I took him to a burned down empty lot and said, "Oh no, Disneyland burned down."
Boy, I bet you there's a million parents in the world who that's their favorite Jack Handy, right? All right, let's go to the box and see what the kids have to say. All right, guys, it's chat room time. So if you've got questions, comments, all that stuff,
all caps,
all capital letters.
And thank you guys for your generous super chats.
Yes, and for hanging. Tennis and Techno, of course, is my favorite title for everything, Christopher.
I wrote it down. It's on the list.
Yeah. Like at some point, I'm just going to abandon all other life responsibilities and just travel the world and write a blog on tennis, techno, and tequila and just call it a day. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I love it. You could call it titties because it's 3 T's.
The 3 T's. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's see.
Hi, Thor at the door.
Yeah. Hi, Steve.
Any questions for us? If anyone would like to volunteer to archive all of our shows so that we can say, oh, I know which show we talked about Jack Cruz, we're hiring. Pay is 0, but there's good karma.
But we'll thank you on every single show.
100%.
Jinx, Jimmy Dore is the best kind of hack because he doesn't even know he is. He doesn't think he is. He's not technically working for anybody. They can always count on him to get things wrong long enough that by the time he gets it right, it doesn't matter anymore.
Correct.
Right? Those are the best kind. Right? Yeah, no. Did I see the Hunter Biden interview? I did see him on Candace Owens. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, it was certainly interesting, to listen to for a period of time, but I can't say that like I'm 100% certain that we've arrived at any truth through that interview. Yeah, no excitement towards FIFA World Cup. I am not a soccer or football fan, whatever I at least know enough that most of the world calls it football and not soccer. It's one of those sports that I just don't understand, but I'm happy for the people who love it that they do, and they get to watch as much of you can watch soccer all day long every day, just like you can watch tennis all day long every day. So I'm happy for those people who seem to love it as much as I love tennis that they get to watch it all the time.
Yeah, I'm not interested in soccer at all. I would like to congratulate Jinx for getting banned from Twitter. Well done.
Nice. Yeah. Badge of honor.
Yeah, and Intivism, as far as Eric Weinstein, I mean, I have a bunch of clips left, but we've been going 2 hours, so definitely no more today. But it is worth watching because there's a moment where Jamie interrupts Eric to put up Alyssa Valdez's blog, The Pugilist.
Oh.
And Eric turns white and he looks like he's about to cry, and then he asks for another drink, and then he regresses to like.
Do you have that time stamped?
I do.
All right, I think we can stick around for that, and that will be the final scene, kids.
Okay, I think I have it timestamped. Let me go.
Should we title the episode "The Pugilist" just so when the Weinsteins, Dani and Emily Minders, right, see that, right,
they'll freak out. They got her quick. She got hit with an DEW and had to go to the emergency room. She felt some explosion in her head.
Well, then maybe we shouldn't say it. We don't want her to get whapped again.
There is that. Okay, let me make it little baby little. And let's see. I think this is it.
Guys, get your magnifying glasses out so you'll be able to watch Eric's face.
Yeah, exactly. So we're looking for 229. And then he pulls out this kind of desperate, "I love you, Joe." It's so weird.
It's gross.
Just
start right there. That's fine.
All right. Here we go.
I'm using Soviets, Joe. Ex-Soviets.
Okay.
Because those guys haven't lost the magic.
Is that okay, size-wise?
And,
put it down to the bottom, though.
I had Frankel and a guy named Misha Kapranov come down for 5 days to kick the shit out of my theory. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. We're drinking vodka at like 10 a.m., having insane meals.
Oh, I think it's here.
I just want to do this for my own reasons. Can we pull up the pinned tweet on my Twitter profile? Which, by the way, thank you for retweeting.
No problem.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you too. What is it?
Oh, God.
Let's go to it real quick.
Yep.
So, first of all, I want to show off the header. Can we go up to the top of the header before we do that? Those two formulas, the bottom one says CFJ. C is Sean Carroll. The middle F is Fields.
You know what? I'm
and
sorry to do
J-
this, Em, but I don't think this is it.
Okay.
This is where he goes back over that Sean Carroll interview.
Okay.
And he has a completely different story for how Sean Carroll was lying. And Joe's like, well, how come you didn't say anything on the show?
Right.
And then he keeps saying like, well, I didn't know what to say. I was embarrassed. Let me see if I can find it without wasting our audience's time. If you want to play with the chat, let me just see if I could pull it up.
All right. Anyone got any comments or questions for me while Dani goes on a hunt here? We'll give her a couple minutes, and if not, we'll just get to it next time. All right. Let's see. $6,000 a match for the World Cup games in LA. Wow. Yeah.
What does that mean? Like that's how much
how much the tickets were.
Really?
Yeah, her sister is going going to watch. Yeah, it's super. But that's how much it is to get into like center court at Wimbledon and stuff like that. Unless with Wimbledon, you can get into the lottery and like you have to apply to that like half a year before. And if you get picked in the lottery, you get reasonably priced tickets. But if you don't get picked in the lottery, then your only way is to buy them from like a a ticket seller and it's super expensive, right?
Yep.
Yeah, or you have to go and wait in line. You can go and wait in line. They reserve a certain number of tickets every day for people to for the queue. And by the way, there was a reference in the chat thing up there to illusion warfare. That's my good friend Les's sort of concept, right? Illusion warfare, but he also likes the topic of queuing. And yes, the queue at Wimbledon is the only other solution to the something like $6,000 tickets.
Got it. Okay, I think I found it.
Okay.
Okay, fair use. I think this is it. Okay.
Every turn in my life since I was a young man, Jeffrey Epstein was there in the background, even though I only meet him once.
Oh my God.
Why do you think that is?
Because we're interested in the exact same thing.
And what is that?
The most powerful stuff in the universe.
Yep.
Why is he interested in that? If
Why?
he doesn't,
I would never
what do
say that is a sentence no one should ever say. Jeffrey Epstein and I are interested in the exact same stuff.
I know.
Why
I
did
know.
you say that? Okay, go
And
ahead.
he contradicts himself so many times in this. Okay.
I care about. I care about finance and financial markets. I care about the CPI. I care about the fate of Israel. I care about
Oh God.
Right?
evolutionary theory. I care about mathematics that goes like geometry, like the geometry of elliptic curves, but really more differential geometry. I care about physics. Every time that I care, and I care about the world's smartest people at a functional level, not the people with the highest IQ, but the people who are irreverent enough to actually move the needle. So he and I we're interested in where's the action, where's the high-end intellectual action in the world that actually moves things. And, quite frankly, he was meeting in my offices in San Francisco while I wasn't aware of it in 2017. I didn't know that.
meeting in your offices. Meaning he went to your office and met with who?
Well, with Peter. That's in the records.
About you?
No, I don't know. He hopefully not. I know that I'm in an email that he sends Peter late in the story, but I'm not going to discuss specifics. But no, I was telling Peter not to deal with him, and Peter thought I was overblowing the danger. He scared me because I know what element he came from. That was not a refined person. That was a scary, scary person. That was a person who came, like the Hesh character on The Sopranos,
mm-hmm.
or Mo Green in The Godfather. Yeah, that's that element.
And you recognize that immediately.
That was my point in bringing up crimes and misdemeanors. It's not like I don't know people.
I understand all this, but what do you think his purpose was? Like, so getting connected to all these scientists, being around all this knowledge, the New Mexico, I still don't understand. Like, what was the end game?
Can I get another drink?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Can I share this article with you?
Please do.
Okay, this was the one I just pulled up a second ago.
If we could get another ice cube too, that would be great.
About this.
Jeff can get us an ice cube.
By the way, he's like sauced. Like he is drinking.
He does this on every show. Like he always wants an old fashioned or a Manhattan or whatever while he's being interviewed.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So it's hard to see, but this is the pugilist.
Okay.
Please.
Here, push pause.
Just down here, this kind of.
Blow it up without pushing play for a second so people can see it. You can make it big, but without pushing play, and that'll be fine.
Okay, I just want to get it to the. Well, I don't know if we could see the title though, but
make it big.
Okay, this is Alyssa Valdez's here. There we go.
Yeah.
The Pugilist with Alyssa Valdez Rodriguez. And they put this out maybe just like 2 days before she got hit and left the country.
Okay. And in that article, she's talking about Eric Weinstein's role in all of this.
She's not talking about Eric Weinstein's role, but Eric's take is just to combat, which he does, is he's just saying that everything is lies. And he talks about, he has this revisionist history. So he talks about the Bannon Epstein interview, but he reframes it as Bannon was training Epstein to be media ready. And then he says that everything that Epstein says to Bannon in that interview was a lie.
Okay.
It's so fucking weird. But this is where like Eric is on, his countenance totally changes and he goes white. And it's like, this is where Jamie's like kind of fucking with him.
All right, let's do it.
Reporter, also LA Times. The summary here is what I was kind of getting at, because it's 2 or 3 paragraphs, but it explains a lot of what you're asking here.
Standard framing of Jeffrey Epstein as a Mossad asset is well supported. Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, sold Israel backdoored Promise software to Sandia National Laboratories in 1985. His eldest daughter, Christine Maxwell, built the FBI's post 9/11 counterterrorism data warehouse through her company, Chiliad. Isabel Maxwell, Christine's twin sister, co-founded ComTouch with Israel Unit 8,200 alumni. Ghislaine ran the human intelligence operation. The Israel intelligence network around both Maxwell and Epstein is documented and substantial. But the intelligence infrastructure supporting Epstein and Maxwell at Zorro Ranch points somewhere else, or to somewhere additional. It points to the United States military intelligence, plain and simple. The contractor who built his encrypted link to orbit is American, headquartered in Georgia, and now holds a Missile Defense Agency contract. The satellite uplink was authorized by an American FCC license. The project was managed out of a New York office. The man who recruited Epstein as a child served in the American OSS, and his own son was in charge of the Federal Justice Department when Epstein died, or didn't, in its custody.
Bill Barr and his father is who that's referring to.
The man whose ranch provided the ideal relay point was OSS, built American missile guidance systems and military drones. And just up the road, another former OSS guy, Carl Ingwer, sold his New Mexico ranch to the strangest duo of all time, Donald Rumsfeld and Dan Rather.
So this is what I've been trying to say all along. The only country that I'm absolutely positive was behind Jeffrey Epstein is us. You can't.
Now he runs cover for Israel.
For Israel, right?
Yeah. The whole thing is a cover run.
He just deeply said, before he said that Jeffrey and I both deeply care about Israel. He just totally implicated. Oh, he's so fucking retarded. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, beyond retarded.
Okay, are we done? I'm done. I'm tired.
I'm done too. Thank you guys. You guys rock.
All right, let me just go to just see if anyone had a thing before. Let's see. Let's see. Nope, no more. No. All capital letters. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. It's been a little bit since we've done one.
We did drop a new show.
Oh, we did drop a new show. It was called Charming Coherence. It came out last week. And it, like I said, wordspodcast.locals.com. Welcome to Words 26, all one word in capital. We'll be back here at some point in the not too distant future, and we'll let you know when that will be. And thanks for hanging. Bye.